Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? I am having a fantastic day. It has been such a good day today. And it wasn't even anything like huge. I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not gonna vlog for a long time tonight. I know I say that and then watch, it'll be 3 hours, but I am so into this book that I am reading right now, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It is hands down probably one of the top maybe 2 or 3 books that I've read in the last like 5 years. I mean, hands down. It is so, so, so good. The writing, the dialogue is like some of the best dialogue I've ever heard in my entire life. So, it's about this woman, and her name is Evelyn Hugo, and she's like this a movie star, kind of, I would say, like Audrey Hepburn or Katharine Hepburn. Probably more like Katharine Hepburn. And she is in like her late, I think she's 79. And she's never really given an interview in like the last 40 plus years. So she agrees to do this interview at this magazine, which is very much like Vogue, I think. And they think it's about her, and this is all at the beginning, so I'm not ruining it for you. They think it's about her selling these dresses that she's selling to benefit a certain charity. So, the reporter that gets requested to do the interview is like basically a nobody that nobody's heard of before, and she specifically asked for this person, and so then it goes in, but then so that whole part is very, very intriguing, and you have really no idea what's going on there, and then but the second part is her telling her story to this person, basically her life story, her memoir, of like everything that she's never talked about before in her entire life. Like, and she came from Hell's Kitchen when she was like, you know, starts when she was like 14 years old, and talks about moving to Hollywood and what she did to get to Hollywood and how she got these movie roles. And it's all very contrived, and it's all very like, you know, 50s Hollywood. It's so interesting, you guys, and not typically something that I would love to read. I mean, honest to God, it is so intriguing, and it is so delightfully written. I honestly, like, every second that I've been in my car today, I've listened to it. I cannot stop listening to it. It is so good. And it's narrated by, like, 3 different people. I would highly, highly suggest it. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And she just had another book come out called Daisy 6 or something like that, I think. I already bought it on Audible. It's about like a rock star that this woman follows around, or she's a rock star or something like that. And Tanya got it tonight because she's listening, or she's going to read it today. Tanya doesn't listen to books, she reads books. But I had told Tanya, I think this was before my vacation, to get this book. I said, I've heard so much about it. I got it. I'm going to listen to it on vacation, which I didn't end up doing. And she was like, okay. She was like, is it really supposed to be that good? And I said, yeah. Tanya read it literally like in one night. So, what am I doing here? I'm trying to move this down. So, I want to listen to some of that book tonight. I want to get like a major part of it done because it's so good. And tomorrow, I keep on thinking tomorrow's Sunday. And then Sunday I have the live stream for Columbine, which I talked to Mel tonight, and she and I am gonna send her this book because I want her to read it so bad. She and I were talking about the live stream, and we were talking about other stuff and books and stuff. So Mel and I caught up tonight. But anyway, yeah, I've just had such a fantastic day. And just the silly stuff, you know, like, so I had one of you guys mentioned Jessica Kent the other day, who is a YouTuber that's in recovery, and she's from Indiana originally, but now she lives in Chicago, and she was in prison, and she does a lot of her story times, or a lot of her videos are about having been in prison. And she's kind of blowing up right now, honestly. And a lot of these channels like this are, because somebody else had recommended to me Christina Randall. And so her channel has literally blown up, you guys, like literally overnight, okay? From being like 10, I think she was like at 10,000 subscribers in like March, and she's at like 160,000 subscribers right now. I mean, crazy blowing up. And her videos and Jessica's videos are very similar. And they're very, very interesting. And they're also like raw and vulnerable. And just telling stories about having been in prison and what they went through. And I am like so intrigued with these videos. And yeah, so I almost feel like they should have some kind of reality show where like they have like, apparently there's like a prison community on YouTube. I wasn't aware of this, but they should have some reality show with like several of these, you know, girls going in and like meeting with like women that are getting out of prison and like helping them or something. I think that would be really interesting. But I don't know. It's cool to see them successful today, and they're very endearing videos, and I'm obsessed. Well, I go to my video because I had mentioned something about Jessica Kent, because all these people were recommending her to me because she's from Indiana and all this kind of stuff. So I went and I watched her video. I went and watched a video of hers the other day, and then like that was just this total, I had fallen down the rabbit hole of her, and I literally like watched, I mean, so many of her videos. I was like all over her Instagram trying to figure out like her life. I mean, I was so intrigued by this girl. She's so cool, and I don't know, there's just something about her that I relate to. And so I mentioned her in my video the other day. Well, she came to my video and she left a comment, and I was literally like, I was like starstruck, honestly. And then Christina Randall today, who doesn't even know that since I've been following Jessica's videos and watching her videos, I have also, because when I mentioned her in my video the other day, all of these people were like, oh, you got to check out Christina Randall. You got to check out Christina Randall, who I guess was doing this first. So I went and checked out her videos, and that was another rabbit hole that I completely fell down. Well, I go to my video tonight, and Christina Randall has commented on my video. She's like, congratulations to Jessica, you go girl, or something like that. I was like, oh my God. And neither one of these girls have any idea like how obsessed I am with their videos, right? So there was that. And then Sean David Hutchinson, who is one of like my all-time favorite authors, of life. He wrote We Are the Ants, which was the first book of his that I wrote. And anyway, he wrote all of these fantastic books. He has like 2 coming out this year, and one of them's a memoir about how he got through being bullied in high school. And I just really appreciate his writing style, and he's kind of a really cool guy too. I think he's close to my age, and he's very nerdy and very handsome, and he just is cool. So anyway, but he's very active on Twitter and social media, and I've never really interacted with him. So I tweeted out something, and I was like, oh, about this Evelyn Hugo book. I was like, everybody should watch this or read this Evelyn Hugo book. Something like, I said, no, I didn't say that. I said, this is like one of the best books I've read the last couple years, or something like that. And he tweeted it, and he was like, tweeted it at me, and he was, I know, right? It's simple stuff like this that makes me so happy. And he was like, so I should read it then, huh? Or something like that. I was like, did Sean David Hutchinson just really tweet me? Like, Sean David Hutchinson, he knows who I am. Like, I was just starstruck again. And the day was just beautiful outside. It was a little cool. Could have been better. I have stuck to my diet 4 days in a row now, which I don't know why that should be a surprise to me. I'm doing very well on it, and I got my foods picked up for tomorrow, and I'm loving being on this diet, and I'm feeling very invigorated, and I'm feeling very motivated, and I'm feeling very confident about it. And got to spend, a bunch of time with Alex tonight. I had to do some stuff at home, and so then he, and I was going to lay down for a little bit, which I didn't end up doing, but he ended up going out to my brother-in-law's, and then I was going to go out there like 45 minutes later. But when he got out there, he texted me and was like, they're going to bed soon. So I was like, okay, I guess I won't come. But anyway, so we got to hang out, talk to Tanya on the phone today. It just was like one of those days. It was just fantastic. It was just a really good day. And, it was nothing. And I think this is like the proof about the simplicity of life, that it isn't anything huge, it doesn't have to be anything huge. It's going to make your day great. And I know it's probably corny that some YouTubers noticing me makes my day, but it does feel like, to me, of being in the YouTuber world, and I was saying this on my video today about Trisha Paytas. It's weird because I get starstruck very easily by YouTubers. And this is the thing, that when I'm watching YouTube videos, whether somebody has 500 subscribers or whether somebody has 15 million subscribers, to me, watching on them on video feels very similar. So it isn't, like, it never feels to me like, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but like me watching like a Jessica Kent video or like a Christina Randall video or like this Spencer Common Spence guy who's this booktuber that I also talked about, like, who I think he has like 9 or 10,000 subscribers on BookTube. Me watching them really doesn't feel a whole lot different than me watching like a James Charles video or a Jeffree Star video. It just really doesn't, because I'm seeing it on the same platform. Hold on a second. So it just doesn't feel a whole lot, I don't know what is going on with this camera. So it just doesn't feel a whole lot different to me. It feels like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you guys, if somebody out there understands what I'm saying, that because of the medium, I think, of YouTube, that it kind of like minimizes, like, I feel to some degree, because you're watching it like on a TV or on a computer, or like everybody kind of seems on the same level, no matter, and I forget sometimes how many subscribers people have, you know what I mean? Because I don't really care as far as, like, if I like somebody, their subscriber clout has it means absolutely nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. And I watch a lot of people that have they have a very small following. And I'm like, why don't they have a bigger following? They're fantastic, you know? So, yeah. So that made my day. I was excited about that, and got a coffee. No Equal. I guess I can have one packet of Sweet and Low in it, though. I looked. It was Sweet and Low's like Equal, if you don't know. I looked I looked through this whole thing. There's like the book that you get, and then online, there's like this extensive thing that they're doing, or that extensive list of like all the foods I can have, all the vegetarian options, all the condiments, all these snacks. It like goes in like by every vegetable, it like details it. This whole Optavia plan, or Optivia, or whatever it is. Optavia, somebody told me it was. I don't know. But the whole thing is like so detailed. I'm loving it, you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I struggled yesterday. I was tired and like I was a little hungry. Today, earlier in the day, I was hungry, but by late afternoon, I was completely fine. Tonight for dinner, for my lean and green, I made a salad. I got this new kind of lettuce. It's like it comes in bunches of 6. It's really cute. It's like Green Giant, and then it has like 6 little bundles of small lettuces. And I just took one and I broke it up and cut it up, and then I put a half cup of white mushrooms in there, which I can have, and I put on a tablespoon of dressing. It was delicious. And then I went and I got Boca Burgers, because I can have 2 Boca Burgers for the same as 1 Morningstar burger. So I got Boca Burgers, which they were delicious too. I don't know, I haven't had Boca Burgers in a long time. I don't know why I wasn't getting those instead of Morningstar. I mean, Morningstar hold their own, but Morningstar tastes a little like greasier. I don't even know how to explain it. But the Boca Burgers were really good, and I had 2 of those and just some water. I wasn't really that hungry this evening, so this is what I had today. Let's see if I can remember everything that I had. The food for me that you get is very, very hit or miss. It's either like I love it or I hate it. There's like really no in between. I had a lemon bar today. That was one of the things I had. Oh, I had this. The smoothies are really good, all of them. I had a yogurt berry chia smoothie, and it tasted just like it sounds. I had to blend it up with ice and cold water. It was delicious. It tasted just like a smoothie. And I was really full after that. And then I had, what was the first thing I had? I got up early today, so my like 2.5, 3 hours started early. Alex said when I wake up and I go into fat burn, I'm gonna be like really energetic. Can you imagine? On top of like me already being energetic. Oh, he also said that the headaches that I was experiencing is related to detox, and that, like, he was talking to some of his friends too, and like everybody has gone through it, and it's like carb and sugar detox from your system, and that's actually a really good sign, and that then the headaches go away. The headache tonight has like started, just like today I had a headache a little bit earlier, but it subsided, and it wasn't a migraine, it was a headache. So I don't know, maybe what I thought was a migraine from the rain was actually really a headache. Sometimes I have a hard time telling the difference, especially if it's like that extreme. I have a hard time telling the difference. So yeah, but anyway, but he said that that was a good sign, because that means that my body was detoxing. And I'm already feeling like a little thinner. And I know I've lost weight. I said I was only going to mention it on here once a week. So every Tuesday I will mention it on here. But I've already lost, maybe not. Do you guys want to know? Do you care? I feel like I shouldn't even say it on here. So I'm going to say it because I'm proud of it. I've lost 8 pounds. Because that's when people are like, you shouldn't be, did I already say it? You guys are probably like, Peter, you said it like 10 minutes ago. When people are like, you shouldn't weigh yourself every day. You shouldn't weigh yourself every day. I'm going to weigh myself every day. I'm just going to. And some days I know I'm going to gain, and some days I'm going to go down and whatever. And I know it's not an exact representation. And so that's why you should only weigh yourself once a week or every other week or whatever. There are 500 different ways out there, probably more, probably 10,000 different ways to diet and things that are recommended, and this is what's working for me. And I've always weighed myself every day, literally. I mean, always, since I was in high school. So I've always had a scale, so I'm gonna continue to do this. But I'm kind of feeling thinner already. It's weird, and so I started at 238.8, and today I woke up and I was 230.8. I've been drinking tons of water. What else did I have today? Okay, so I think I had a bar this morning, like a chocolate mint bar. I love the chocolate mint bars. They're really, really good. I told Alex, I said I didn't like the drizzles so much, but I really like the chocolate mint bar. So I had, I think, a chocolate mint bar, a lemon bar, the yogurt zesty thing. Oh, I had mashed potatoes. I had sour cream, mashed potatoes. They were okay. Alex said they were one of his favorites. I told him, I said, I think next time I'm going to order mostly like, I'm going to try some new stuff. That's what's really fun, is that they have so many different kinds of food that it's kind of fun. All of these like brownies and bread and stuff very much feels like easy bake oven when you, I don't know how it, like, I mean, I had the decadent brownie tonight, so that was, wait. Okay, so I had the mint, bar, the lemon bar, the yogurt berry chia bliss, or berry bliss chia, the smoothie, sour cream, mashed potatoes, and the decadent brownie. That was 5, and then I had my lean grains. That was my meal today. And tomorrow, I already picked out my stuff. I got the caramel macchiato smoothie, or a caramel macchiato shake, which I'm gonna mix with coffee when I get up. And then I'm gonna have, I'm gonna make like an iced coffee with that tomorrow. I'm gonna try that tomorrow. And then I have those cruncher things that are basically like, they look like Cheeto Puffs, kind of. And then I'm gonna try, is that what they're called? Cheeto Puffs? Sweetest call them Cheetos? I don't even know. I hate those. I never ate them back in the day. But these are kind of different. These are supposed to be like roasted cheddar or something. Probably just a nicer way of saying Cheeto. But anyway, I got those, and then I'm trying not to do all the bars because I don't want to run out of bars by the end of the month. Which, I mean, I could always order more, but I just really would prefer not to. Yeah, I really haven't struggled that much with it. And like right now, I feel so good. Like I feel so, like physically, I feel so good right now. I feel like I'm sleeping deeper, I'm sleeping better. I feel like, I don't know, I have a little bit more confidence. I'm feeling more sure about myself. I'm really happy that I chose to do this diet, and I finally just kind of like gave in and said I was going to do it, you know? I wish I hadn't been so resistant before, but I will tell you this. Of all the other times that I looked to do it, I think that this is like the best time for me, at the end of April, because, you know, I have all of May, had 2 weeks in April basically, and then June. So that's like 2.5 months before we might go somewhere. If we go to San Diego, we're either going to go, we talked about it tonight because of Alex's work schedule, we're either going to go, what do you call it? Like the first week of July, or we're going to go, like September, October. So it just kind of depends. We're very excited about Vegas. We were talking about it tonight, what we want to do. We want to go see a new show. Alex's cousin Maya. So Maya lives in Vegas, and that'll be fun to see her. And we'll go out with her one night. Well, at least Alex will. I'll probably go too. We're gonna probably go see. So we went and saw Absinthe, which was really good. This hilarious show. And the sister show is called Opium, and it's at the Cosmopolitan. So we're gonna maybe go see Opium as a new show. And then we saw, the first year that we ever went together, we went and saw Zoomanity, which is a very adult Cirque du Soleil, but I love it. And Alex, like, that was his first experience with Cirque du Soleil, and like 2 days later we went and saw O, which if you've never seen O, if you have to pick one Cirque du Soleil show to go see O. I've literally seen them all, I think except for Ka, and all of the ones in Vegas. And no, that's not true, because I haven't seen, I always forget the Beatles and Michael Jackson. I haven't seen those. So, but if you, like all of like the main Cirque du Soleil shows, if that makes sense, I have seen Mystère and O and all of those. But anyway, Zoomanity is so good, but it's an adult show. But if you've never seen O, let me just tell you, like, I've seen it twice now, and I don't feel like I need to see it again. Would I see it again? Absolutely. It's so beautifully done. The music is incredible. It's just like the whole thing is just absolutely incredible. And so the pool was built, like they built the Bellagio around the Cirque du Soleil, the O auditorium. And it has this pool that goes up and down. If you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's one of the most incredible shows I've ever seen in my life anywhere. And I know it seems kind of corny that Alex and I like shows, but we love shows. I absolutely love going to shows. So we're going to probably pick a show or two to go while we're out there. Alex's cousin wants to take us to go see Magic Mike. I was like, she said she can get free tickets to it. I was like, well, if you want to go, Alex, we can go. I said, we went into the Chippendales thing, and it was hilarious, but I mean, we were literally like the two only guys there. There was maybe like one or two other guys in the very back, but we were it. And so I don't know. So if you have any show recommendations in Vegas, let us know. There was one other show that I told Alex that I thought would be fun. His friend lives in Vegas too, so we'll probably meet up with him, and I said, and go out to like dinner and then go out to a couple clubs one night. And I said, because I like to go like to the local gay bars while we're there and stuff, and I said, you know, we should maybe just go like see a drag show that night or something. It's gonna stop, hold on. Yeah, and I said, well, maybe we could go to a drag show with him like one night. He was like, yeah, that'd be fun. So we're there 5 nights. And I think the first night, because we're going to get there, lay out at the pool, and do all that kind of stuff. The first night we'll probably go to some kind of like romantic dinner and then do Zoomanity. That'll probably be the first night if we go. And Zoomanity is actually not a very expensive Cirque show, and for good seats. And then the second night, I don't know, we're going to do, so we're there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Saturday will be the night that we go out to a club if we go. So Friday night will probably be the night that we go out with his friend, which means then Thursday night or Sunday night would be another show. Thursday night we'll probably just hang out and not do a whole lot of anything, and then Sunday night go see another show. Or go see a show before we go out or something like that. We can do that too. I'm excited. I love planning trips. it. I love it. I love it. And I'm excited about getting my patio ready. I was standing out there today and I was like, really, my neighbor's got like, the one that moved in, she's got her patio all set up. She's got all these flowers out front. And I was like, I really want to get my stuff going, but it's cold. It's 48 degrees right now. I'm like, I don't want to go and get all this stuff and get it all nice, and then it's too cold to sit out there, you know? I want to be able to sit outside. Somebody asked a question. I was like, I'm sitting here in my head trying to think of what I want to talk about. Somebody asked a question. Another one of those questions, like, I hope I'm not offending you. Oh, by the way, if you see this early enough, I posted a picture on my Instagram story. Alex and I are going to be doing a Q&A this weekend. So if you want to go and ask a question, they're over there. So, somebody asked this question. They said, I hope I'm not being offensive. You're not being offensive at all. They were asking about Alex and I's like financial setup and how we do things financially. And I've actually talked about it on here before, and I'm not offended to talk about it at all. I tell people, I think you have to do for your marriage or your relationship what works for you. Like, I don't think anybody else can tell you like what to do. Like, I think it has to be specific to your relationship. So let me explain. When Alex and I got together, and I'm just gonna be honest about some like business ventures of ours. Like, I'm just not gonna talk about it on here. I'm just not. But when Alex and I got together, you know, like, so in my past relationship, my ex was not good with finances whatsoever. And we had a savings account together, a mutual savings account, that we would each put a certain amount of money into, like, every week, every paycheck or whatever, right? We had started it like 3 years before. And this was gonna go towards us, like, at some point, like, putting a down payment on a house. Okay, so if you've watched my videos as far as like talking about debt and things like that, like, and I got into a lot of debt with my ex, because I was the one paying most of the bills, and I was the one paying all the bills, and it just was a lot, you know, and it was a lot, and so, I haven't talked about this in a long time, but I had a lot of debt. And so anyway, when I got with Alex, like, I got rid of the debt. And I snowballed my debt. I did the whole Dave Ramsey thing. I am, like, weirdly financially responsible to this point. I keep a checkbook. I write down every receipt I have. I keep all of my receipts in my, here I can show you. I keep all of my receipts in my wallet. True story, you guys. You're gonna die. Well, probably not. I don't know if you can see, but like, do you see in there? I have all my receipts in my wallet, and then when it gets too thick in my wallet, I add them all up, and I write it in my checkbook. And my checkbook is literally to the penny, except for that I pad my checking account, because my dad taught me to do that years, like when I was in my 20s, he taught me to do that. So, like, every once in a while, I'll deposit like $100, and I don't write it into my checkbook. So I really, like, I know what my checkbook is for me, and that's always going to be fact, but I don't know, like, I have a feeling it's probably ridiculously, I mean, because I've done it so many times at this point, that I think it's, like, ridiculously padded at this point. I mean, I don't think $10,000, but probably a couple $1,000s, honestly. And I also always round up on my receipts, so if I add my receipts together, let's see, every other day, then... And I don't put things on credit cards except for like trips and car expenses. That's the other thing. So I use my debit card. I use my checking account for literally everything. And so I just add that up. And Alex does the same thing. So I just add that up, and then I round it up. So if like the total of my receipts is, let's say, like $1,223, you know, or, you know, whatever, I'd put $13. Or if it was like 2023 or 2012, I would put $21, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you do that every day or every 2 days, and then you're always rounding it up like 80 cents, 40 cents, 20 cents, 90 cents, you know, over time, what happens is that it accumulates. So I would really suggest padding your account. And the other thing is you'll never overdraw on your account if you like, because I know a lot of people, we live in a different world today. You know, back when I was younger, we didn't have ATM. You couldn't look online and check your banking and all that kind of stuff. You know, my husband, like, he looks online and what he sees is the balance is what he thinks he has. I'm like, no. Like, because you might have things pending, you might have things out. And Alex is very good. Listen, Alex and I both did not have great financial situations with exes, so we are weird about our finances, okay? And we literally, like, I mean, we cut ties cut ties, is that the word I'm looking for? We really literally, I mean, when we cut, like, when I got rid of the debt, it was unreal, you guys, like, what we did. I mean, I so firmly believe in that Dave Ramsey snowballing your debt thing. If you don't know about it, look it up online. But it's basically where you take credit cards or you take debt, like car statement, or car loans and house mortgages and things like that, and you just go from, like, biggest to smallest. But you don't put sometimes your car and your house on there, so you put, like, your credit cards if you're trying to get credit card debt on there. I'm telling you, it works. It worked for me. I'm telling you, it works. So anyway, I mean, I think Dave Ramsey's financial stuff, he's a genius. But anyway, that was scary. That car was like at the intersection, and they were like, 2 police officers were like kind of like creeping up on the door. I'd be scared to death to be a police officer and go up to somebody's door. But so when Alex and I got together, you know, I was definitely the one that was making more money. You know, Alex was in school, he was working part-time, things like that. And when Alex and I first met, he would, like, a semester, he would, like, take a class and work part-time, next semester work full-time. And then he would go, like, a semester, he would take classes and work part-time, and then he would work a semester and go full-time because he was paying for his education. And so I was the one, you know, bringing in most of the money. So I had actually had this conversation with Tanya one night, and I was like, you know, how do you and Eric do things? And she said, you know, Peter, both of them have been married as well. She said, for us, she said, we don't want to fight about money. And okay, that was one of the things, was that I had seen so many couples through the years fight about money. And I was like, I just don't want to fight about money with my husband. I just don't, or my boyfriend at the time. I don't want to fight with my boyfriend about my money. I don't want to, if we get married, I don't want to fight about it. So I said to Tanya, I said, well, what do you do? And she goes, well, we have a joint account that we both pay into, and that pays all of our bills. And then I have my account that I pay myself, and he has his account that he pays himself. And then the joint account is like, we pay into it, and that goes for trips, and that goes for bills, and that goes for everything. So that's how our finances are set up. That's how what Alex and I did. We did the exact same thing. And it has worked. I mean, like, we literally pay the bills down the middle, you guys, okay? I mean, unless, like, you know, one month he's having a really tough month, and then, like, I cover it or whatever. It's not, you know, it's not, like, that strict. But we each pay half of the bills. And then what it does is, if he wants to go and spend $200 on clothes, that's his $200, right? Like, I don't have to sit there and talk about it. Now, like, we do have conversations about cars and things like that. Like, when I went and got this car, we talked about, like, the, you know, the car payment and, you know, if it was realistic. Alex really wants to get a Jeep Wrangler like I wanted to, but he's going to. Alex leases his cars. So we've talked about that, and, you know, is it realistic for us and things like that. We'll talk about the pricing. Like, we talk a lot about trips. And, you know, sometimes, like, one of us will get the trip, and the other time the other person will get the trip, and we're just very kind of that with it. And we don't want to fight over money. You know, we've seen too many of our friends fight over money, and we're very honest with each other when we don't have the money to do things. You know, like, Alex will just say, like, I can't do it right now, or I'll say, okay, well, then, you know, well, let me do it. Let me pay for the trip, and, or, you know, whatever. Vice versa. And it just works for us. And I don't have any problem talking about that financial stuff. I think we should talk more about that as adults. I was always raised by by my parents that you don't necessarily talk with friends about, you know, like, money, religion, and politics. Did you guys ever hear that one? But, like, I think to discuss, you know, positive things that work for us, like not debt consolidation. I'm not talking about, like, going through one of those companies. I don't know anything about that, so I can't speak to that. I'm talking about, like, doing the Dave Ramsey thing, okay? Like, snowballing your debt, which there's actual programs. I had a program on my what's that thing called? iPad. I had, like, first generation iPad 1. I had a program on there. It was like a pie chart, and it would show me, like, how much money, like, I was paying off each month. And so you can do something like that. But I have so many friends of mine that legit to this day, I mean, they're literally like in their 50s, and they'll be like, oh, well, I took out so much money from the account, and, you know, John found out about it, and he's so pissed at me. And I'm like, well, what did you take it out for? Well, I really wanted this purse, and I didn't think he'd really notice. So you lied to your husband about money. Yeah, but it's like, I really wanted the purse, and I mean, we can afford it. It's not that big of a deal. Well, if it's not that big of a deal, why didn't you just say something to him about wanting the purse? Well, he would have said no. I mean, he would say we can't afford it. So, see, we eliminate this conversation. This conversation never happens. Somebody was referencing, I think it was about the AirPods, is what they were asking. I knew Alex wasn't going to go buy himself AirPods. I knew he wasn't going to spend the money on it. And I wanted him to, he had mentioned them a couple times that he really wanted them. He was like, when we would go, like, you know, to Best Buy or whatever, he would, like, look at them and whatever. And I was like, babe, why don't you just buy them? They're not that expensive. Because I love my AirPods. I mean, I'm addicted to them. And he's like, well, maybe for the summer I'll get them by the pool. And then we were getting ready to go to Miami. He was like, we were, like, looking at them, and he was like, well, maybe I'll wait till because there's second generation AirPods coming out. And so I just was like, I'm gonna surprise him and get the AirPods. And so that day that, like, we drove over there to look at them, they didn't have them, and then I just ordered them for him. So it's always interesting to me, the things that people like the small things that people notice about stuff. Like, y'all don't buy presents for your partners out there. I was talking to a friend of mine, actually I was talking to Mel about this today, you know? It's like the things that people, like, notice, like, it cracks me up, kind of. It's like people will say something like, I'm getting a lot of questions lately about, like, me being retired. Like, okay, I'm retired from the career that I chose to be in, but I have other things that I do. First of all, you know, Alex and I have some businesses that we run that bring in income. Number two, I make 5 videos a day. It's not like I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs, you know? And I do that because I love it, yes, but I mean, I got all these questions, and people were like, well, does Alex care that you don't work? Does Alex care that you don't do anything? Like, I just don't do anything all day long. Do you guys want to, I mean, I can start vlogging and just show a 20-minute vlog of me, you know, answering emails or returning phone calls for things, you know, but I'm not going to do that. So no, I'm not 100% retired. I still do work. I'm still productive. But even if I was, like, okay, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, I have friends of mine today that legit, at my age, are 100% retired. 100%, because they were smart, because they set money aside, and because they invested money, and they bought property and things like that, right? And they don't even run their properties. Like, they have management companies that run their properties. They literally just collect checks. I mean, I'm talking friends of mine that were so smart with money that when I was being a buffoon out there drinking and partying and whatever at 22, they were taking, like, every $100 that they would earn, and they would put it in a savings account, and then they would, like, put a down payment on a house, flip it, okay? I mean, these are people that were very smart financially. I don't ever look at them and go, oh my God, you're retired at this. I'm like, I look at them and I go, God, I wish I was retired like that. You know what I mean? I don't understand that. I just really don't understand the negativity towards somebody that set a goal for themselves and they achieved it. Okay, the camera fell. You know, one of the criticisms that I get from people often, people that don't like me, is that I never achieve anything, that I set all these goals for myself and I never achieve them. And one of the reasons why I do talk about my life so openly, and I talk about the goals that I've set for myself and the ones that I've achieved and the ones that I haven't and the hardships that I've had going along the way, is because I want everybody to know out there, you can achieve whatever goals you want. I wish I had the drive at 22 that I have in my life today. Honest to God, I wish I did. I wish I knew at 22 years old when I got sober that anything I wanted to happen in my life, I could have made happen. Anything. I am such a firm believer in that today, that you want to be a movie star, you could be a movie star. You want to be an attorney, you can be an attorney. You want to be a judge, you can be a judge. I am such a firm believer, you know, in whatever it is you want your life to be. If you want your life to be just that you want to have the most amazing garden in the entire world and the house out in the country, you can do it. And it's interesting to me that I get that criticism sometimes, because I'm like, okay, so, and I'm not saying this arrogantly, but when I was like, you know, in my mid-20s to 30, and I set the goal for myself, because I saw people that were doing this, okay, that by the time that I was 45 or 50, I wanted to be semi-retired, and so I started saving my money, you know, after I got sober and whatever, and I couldn't save the kind of money that my friends, you know, that today are super wealthy were saving, but I saved money, because today, you know, at some point I wanted that to be the, you know, I wanted to be semi-retired. I didn't want to be going in at 65 years old. I think one of the things I don't talk about on here enough is that my dad is, you know, he'll be 79 this year. My dad has worked every day. I mean, he works so much. He is literally to this day working at 5 a.m. And I know that a lot of people out there think that my dad, I got some trust fund and my dad pays all my bills for me. There's no truth to that statement whatsoever. None whatsoever. I don't really care if people believe me or not, because I know the truth on that. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's been a few times in my life, well, maybe a lot, that I kind of wish that I had been that trust fund baby that everybody wanted to say that I was. You know what I mean? But it's just not the case. It just really isn't. And, you know, with all of that, I've told that story on here too, that my dad and I, our relationship when I was younger, like in high school, was definitely built on money. And that was why with working with my sponsor, you know, I had to set a boundary that, you know, well, the story's funny, and I've told the story on here before, because I needed a new car. And so my sponsor was like, well, you need to tell your dad that you aren't going to let him buy you, because my dad was like, well, I'm going to take you to get you a new car, because you need a car, not a new car, but a used car. I don't know that I've ever in my life had a brand new car. I don't think I've ever had a brand new car. But he was like, you need to have a car, you know, like, and I'm like, okay. And I mean, I was going to meetings, I was calling people for meetings, you know, I had started working in treatment, you know, like I had no car, I was relying on everybody. And so I said that to my sponsor. My sponsor said, no, like, a huge issue with you and your dad is that it's, you know, your dad and your relationship is defined by money. Like, he doesn't know who he is if he's not giving you money. And I was like, I totally agree. And so I wanted to develop a relationship with my dad that had absolutely no baseline with money whatsoever. But I needed a car. So I let my dad buy me a car. And then I got a new sponsor, and I told my new sponsor exactly what I had done. And then I sat down with my dad and we had a conversation. And that was after I turned 23, somewhere in there, that first year of my sobriety, I don't know. So maybe before I turned 23, I don't know. But it was that year, and I sat down with my dad and I said, I can't take money from you anymore. And in very rare exceptions, has my dad helped me out financially, and it's never ever been anything like $2,000, $5,000. It's never been anything like that. And you know, I would say 85% of it over 24 years, I've paid him back. So I feel like the fact that I busted my ass to be semi-retired, you know, and then I get criticized for it, and people are like, well, your husband works. First of all, my husband chooses to work. My husband wouldn't have to work. I'm just gonna say, okay? He chooses to work. He loves doing what he does. And, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Whenever I get the comments in my videos that are kind of like, oh, like, you always set out to achieve, like, you always set these goals, but you never achieve them. Like, it's always about the weight, which, hey, I'll admit all day long, I haven't been great with the weight. But, like, the other things, it's like, I wrote a book in a month, okay? It got published. And I made pretty good money off my book sale. I made pretty good money for a first sale in a book, you know, and no, it wasn't a New York Times bestseller, but from a boutique publishing house, I did okay. And, you know, like, I've stayed sober for 24 years. I've been in a successful relationship that has had its hardships, yes, but we've been together for almost 11 years, you know? I have great friends in my life today. I feel like there's a lot of things in my life that I've accomplished. I have a master's degree, you know? There's just been a lot of things that I've accomplished, so I'm very confused when people say that. And I don't know how other people, like, what would that have to look like to other people? Would I have to have 5 PhDs and start in 5 movies and, you know, like, live in a house in Malibu? Would that then be considered successful? And the thing about it is, I'm not going to say that it doesn't bother me, because it kind of does bother me sometimes, because this is the thing, and I said this in my video today too, like, what I don't understand about it is, like, there are always going to be people out there that don't like you, and you can't do anything about that. You know, I don't really play into a whole lot of that today. I really don't. You know, if there are people out there that don't like me, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, hey, listen, I figured that out a long time ago. I figured that out in first grade, that there were going to be people in this world that didn't like me for no good reason. I figured that out a long time ago. And to those of you that are out there and that you're watching this and you relate to this and you're like, I totally get this, there are people that don't like me too, there ain't nothing you can do about it. And don't try to change their minds, because there's no point. So just live your life as happy as you possibly can and be a role model for happiness and positivity. You know, I was reading this meditation today in the Melody Beatty book, and it was about negativity. And I was going to do my Peterisms video about it today, but I didn't end up filming a video on my Peterisms channel because Alex came home, and I was like, I just want to hang out with you. So I, like, you know, took down the light and stuff like that. But it was about, like, when there are people around us that are negative and they have these negative attitudes, we have a choice on engaging that or not engaging in that. You know, like, we have a choice whether or not we want to be a part of that. Like, if somebody that you're friends with, or somebody that you come in contact with on a regular basis, is just constantly negative, you have a choice whether you pay attention to that, or you respond or react to that, or you pay it no mind. It's really your choice, you know? And it's taken me so long to get to this point, you know? People are gonna have their opinions about me, I know that, right? I put myself out there. People have every right to have their opinion about me. But long before I was ever on YouTube, because this isn't just about YouTube, this is about, very rarely much of what I talk about is about really YouTube, honestly. But, you know, in life, I've had that experience too. You know, like, I grew up with people just not liking me for really no reason whatsoever, except for that it was just, you know, first it started off about me being effeminate, and then it was just kind of like the popular thing to do, to not like me, you know? And because if you were a guy and you're gonna be my friend, well, then you're gonna be made fun of too. And so then all my friends were girls, but girls were mean to me sometimes too, I have to be honest. Like, I had some girls that were really cruel to me growing up. But you learn about it over time, you know? Back in the day, I used to engage in it, and I think I almost tried to, I would say, like, seek the attention or the approval from people that really didn't like me. Because in my head, like, weirdly, and I think this goes all the way back to me being bullied, like when I was young, I think I was really trying to change their opinion about me. Like, if I could change their opinion about me, then like, and I could see, I'm not this person that you think that I am, then maybe I would believe it too, my own self-worth. My self-worth today is not defined by what somebody else thinks of me. My self-worth today is defined by what I think of myself today. My self-worth is by how I feel about myself today, you know? About those accomplishments that I talked about that I'm very proud of. And each of you should be very, very proud for all of those accomplishments that you've achieved out there. And I don't care if it's having a child or getting married or staying in a relationship for a year, because for some people that's a lot, you know, or being able to be out on your own and pay for your own apartment, or keep a job, you know, or get a high school degree or GED, or get a master's degree, or get a PhD, whatever, become a movie star, get cast in a play, whatever it is, be proud of it. Be proud of yourself for those things. That is where you should grab your self-worth. Look around your closest friends and family, the people that really, really love you. That is where you should gain your self-worth. We spend too much time in this world trying to grab self-worth and validation from people that don't like us to begin with, and they ain't never gonna give it to us. I just don't seek it from there anymore. When people don't like me, they don't like me. Okay. You know, you can't change that. And let's just be for real. I don't like everybody, okay? I'm sure y'all out there, I'm sure there's some people out there that you don't like everybody either. You know what I mean? I like to think that I'm a little bit more open-minded, and that when people kind of rub me the wrong way, that, you know, I have like some friend groups where there's always that like one or two person in there where I'm like, kind of sitting there silently rolling my eyes a little bit. You know, I'm like, oh God. Oh, so they're coming along tonight? You know what I mean? We all have that person. I try to remain open to experiencing new experiences with people, that maybe people will pleasantly surprise me, because that is one of the greatest gifts in life, is when... Oh, my husband's calling me. Hold on a second. That is one of the greatest pleasures in life, one of the gifts in life, is when people pleasantly surprise you that they are better, and they are nicer, and they are kinder and cooler than you ever thought they would be. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. He's on his way home. He's supposed to have brunch with his friend tomorrow that's in from out of town, but apparently her son is sick. So he's not sure if he's going to be doing brunch or not tomorrow. I'm going to be doing brunch on Sunday. I'm a little nervous about it, I will tell you. But I think I can handle it. I think I can handle it. I'm not going to eat, obviously, what I have, you know, any other time. Although I was asking Alex tonight about, like, my cheat, like, can I have a cheat day? And he's like, you can have a cheat day, but it's going to stop this, like, you know, he's like, are you wanting to have a cheat day already? And I said, no, I was just asking about it. Like, am I supposed to do this for, like, 6 months and never once, like, have anything outside of these powdered shakes and the decadent brownie? I mean, like, you know what I mean? And he was like, no, don't you remember? Like, I ate on that. And I was like, well, what did you do? And he goes, well, it just, you know, you have to restart your fat burn. He was like, so I wouldn't recommend it, like, in your first week or two. And I go, well, no, I'm not planning on doing that. So I'm going to really look at the menu. Not the menu. I'm going to really look at, like, the Activia options that I have before I go. And then that's going to be my lean-in green for the day. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to get a plain omelet with egg whites, or egg, I think they have egg beaters there too, actually, and then just arugula salad on the side, which will be so delicious. But at least I'll still get to go do brunch. You know, I can have their delicious coffee and stuff. So, but yeah, what I was saying was, you know, that, like, I mean, I think there's always people out there that we don't like or whatever. You know, I just don't listen. This is the thing, and this is why this meditation meant so much to me today. I just don't choose to engage in, like, I just don't choose to be around a lot of people that are very negative. At least not anymore. You know, it's so toxic to my life, and it just really takes away the peace and serenity that I have. I just don't want any part of it, you know? And there's always going to be people that don't like us out there, and I think that we have to know that, and that's okay. You know what I mean? There's always going to be people that just, for whatever reason, they don't like us. that's cool. It is whatever, you know? It's gonna hurt our feelings sometimes, sure. Like, we're human. We have feelings. That's honest. You know what I mean? That if somebody doesn't like us, especially if they can't really explain why they don't like us, they just don't. Like, I think that really hurts, you know? I don't know. Or if somebody doesn't like us because they have the wrong impression of us. But I realized that for me, I need to focus on the people that do like me, and I need to focus on the people that are positive, and I need to focus on, you know, the people that choose to be in my life in a positive way. And that would be my suggestion to other people too, you know? I have friends of mine in my life that are very, very negative. They're always like, you know, I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, actually, that everything they see, it's from a negative point of view. Like, literally, everything they see is from a negative point of view, right? And I've said things to them before, you know, like, and I used to be a person that, I wouldn't say I was ever that negative. I was never that negative, but I did see the glasses half empty. You know, I would worry a lot about things, or, oh, it's not going to turn out great, or whatever, you know what I mean, back in the day. But, like, Alex is so positive, and, you know, it really got old that a couple years ago for Christmas, I just talked about this on my Peterisms channel, a couple years ago for Christmas, I gave him a picture of me smiling, and he put it next to his bed, and it's still there, and I said every day for the next year, I'm gonna wake up smiling, because I want you to see that I'm positive and I'm happy, and I want to be positive and happy with you. And I really worked on it. And I do believe it's a choice to some degree. And I'm not talking about mental health issues. I'm talking about the choice to be happy and the choice to have a certain outlook on life, okay? Like, you know, to not be like, oh, this chocolate shake is crap, and just throw it out the window, and I can't stand that person. And I don't spend much time with people that are like that. I cannot. It is so taxing. Sometimes when I'm around people that are like that, I literally leave and I'm exhausted, like I just worked out or something like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But I think that it was a good meditation. If you have the Melody Beatty book, and you didn't read the meditation, you should read it. It was a great one. It was about, like, choosing not to engage in negativity, you know? But going back to the money question, I think that's a fine question. Don't ever feel like you're going to offend me by asking a question. I'm really, to be honest with you, I'm never offended by the question. I'm offended by the way it's asked. I don't know if that makes any sense, but, you know, I think by the time that we're grown adults, we know how to ask other grown adults questions about their lives, you know, and I think that there are ways to ask questions, and there are ways that, you know, I don't know, to just, I mean, I get questions on my videos sometimes, and people, they don't say them in very nice ways. And to be honest with you, like I said, I don't engage in that in my life. So I'm probably not going to ask your question if you come out and you say it, like, in a really, you know, shitty way. I'm just not, you know? I don't have to, you know what I mean? But if you ask a question, you ask it that way. Like, I have no problem answering that. And I think it's important, you know, for people to share different kinds of stories, because I can be honest with you, had I not had that conversation with Tanya, I don't really know how we would set up our relationship financially, because I always traditionally believed in having a joint checking account, having our names on the same checking account. Like, that meant something to me as being in a traditional marriage, you know? When I started talking to other people, and I have a lot of friends of mine that, like, have their finances set up all kinds of different ways. Hell, and I have a lot of friends of mine, the heterosexual couples, that, you know, the wife does all of the bills, everything, that she writes all the checks, and he has no clue anything financial. And I have vice versa as well. I do think this would be my one piece of advice. if you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship and you guys have some kind of financial checking accounts, savings accounts, mutual funds, whatever you have together, both parties should know what's going on with that. Both parties. My husband, he and I both know about the bills and everything. I mean, the other person should know about that as well, you know? I remember my mom, and this is probably something that's not so much a big deal today, but I do remember her talking about it back then. You know, like, when my mom and dad got separated, like, all of her credit cards were in my dad's name. Like, everything was in my dad's name. So she had no credit built of her own, you know? Her checking accounts were in his name, and so she had to start all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I can remember, like, that was, like, an issue. She would say, like, I just literally, you know, like, later as I got older, she would give me advice, and she would say, you need to build your credit. And she would say, you know, when your dad and I got separated, it was not something that was... We didn't talk about it on Oprah about what women should do, you know, or men, I guess. You know, if they're going through separation or divorce, that they literally have no credit. Like, my mom hadn't, and I don't know if that's changed today. I don't know a whole lot about that, you know? But I think that's important. But as far as the rest of the stuff, like, Alex and I file all of our taxes together as a married couple. You know, all of that other stuff, anything else that you would think of is together. And it all, like, is seemingly together with that one checking account, but then we, you know, have our own that we spend what we want to spend on, so. And you really can't think of, like, I mean, we might joke with each other from time to time, like, do you really think you need that, or whatever. Okay, here's a good example. Like, I got Alex that robe, right, for Christmas. The robe is not expensive. But I got it for him for Christmas because he really, really loved that robe at Unico when we went. Well, tonight, I really, like, I was, like, looking on Amazon, and I saw that robe, and I was like, he was upstairs in bed, and I was like, I really kind of want that robe. Do you really like it? And he goes, it is exactly like the robe that they had at Unico, Peter. And he goes, just get it, babe. He goes, you know, like, gift yourself that. And I was like, well, I don't know. And so, you know, like, we don't really get in arguments like that. Now, if it was something like a Louis Vuitton bag, or, you know, something like that, yes, that would be a discussion, or a trip. But if it's something smaller, we don't really have that. Meals, we usually go back and forth with meals. You know. And it's not, like, set in stone. So, like, I'm like, it's your turn. We don't do any of that kind of stuff. But, like, we just kind of go back and forth, you know. Like, he'll be like, oh, I'll pick it up. Or, you know, I'll grab the bill the next time, or whatever. We just kind of go back and forth. The one thing is, and I've kind of gotten lax on this because I don't have such an issue with it today as I used to, is for a very long time in our relationship, I would not buy alcohol. So, like, if we went out to dinner and he got, like, a glass of wine or something, or, you know, a beer, like, I wouldn't pay for it. I'm just like, I'm not gonna buy alcohol. But, like, I don't have that issue today. I don't really care. So if we get a Cheesecake Factory or Puccini's or something, he has a glass of wine, it's whatever. I just get it. I don't care. There was something else I wanted to talk on here about today, too. I can't remember. I hate that when I can't remember. I think that place changed its name. Huh. It's not raining today, you guys. I was just, like, sitting here and I was like, something's different. I'm so happy it's not raining. I've had such a great day today. I've been so happy. It's just been a really, really good day. Tomorrow's gonna be a great day, too. Just know you have those feelings, you know. The sun will come up. The sun will... Is that how it goes? The sun will come up tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. I want to see some movies. I haven't watched a movie since, well, our vacation. But I really enjoyed that. I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about somebody asked me for a movie recommendation, and I was trying to think of one, and I was like, oh my god, The Happy Time Murders, which I know is not for everybody. The humor was a little crass in it, but I just thought it was such a hilarious movie, and I really enjoyed it. Alex can watch literally like 6, 7, 8 movies in a weekend. And I just don't do that. Usually I have movies on in the background, like when I'm uploading YouTube videos, feeding the dogs, doing stuff like that. But lately, like, this is so weird. Like, I haven't been turning the TV on at all. Tonight I turned the TV on for literally like 15, 20 minutes while I ate, and I watched Family Feud. That was like, other than that, like, I don't, you know? Oh, you know what? I have all this stuff. Jeremy Vanderveer sent me these candles. I have all this PO stuff I wanted to show on here. But I didn't show it. I'll show it tomorrow. There was something else I wanted to talk about. What was it? I was like putting the video together. Come on, Peter, wiggle your toes. It sets off neurons in your brain, supposedly. I don't know if that's true. But my old roommate told me that. It helps you remember things if you wiggle your toes. I was like watching the video back, and it reminded me to talk about something. Oh, okay. So you know last night in the video where I was talking about my friend that I have today, that she used to live with this guy back in the day in this apartment. And I used to spend like 3 to 4 nights a week over at this guy's apartment, right? Okay. So, I was talking about it because I was talking about Columbine, and then I was going to go in and I was talking about tragedies, right? Well, this is what, I told the whole story about she and I and meeting him and all this kind of stuff, and I left out the tragedy. So, it would have been before I got sober. I looked it up not too long ago, and it was like 6 months before I got sober. It was the year I got sober. There was this horrible thing that happened in Carmel, Indiana, where I'm from, at like the north side of Indianapolis. And it was these 2 kids. It was this guy and his sister who was younger than him. I think the boy was like 17 and his sister was like 14 or 15. And then it was one of his friends. And it was supposedly a pot deal that went bad, but I don't know if that's true. I don't remember a lot of the details. But these 3 guys, like, came to their house, and they, like, tied them all up to chairs, and then, like, killed them execution style, okay? It was such a huge deal, because it happened in this neighborhood of, like, $750,000 houses, right? You can look it up, put, like, Carmel murder 1994, and it'll be, like, three killed in Carmel, Indiana. It was such a huge deal. Their parents were out of town, and why do I feel like they only have like one parent? I don't know why I feel like, but anyway, I think their parents were out of town, and well, their parents were out of town because they were there for the weekend alone. I do remember that part of the story, but it was very much like, I remember watching the whole like O.J. Simpson trial like on the news, and it was just like playing on CNN all day long. It was like that, like on local news, like they just kept on playing it and showing it, and they would show it like the street like cordoned off, and the police going in there and all this kind of stuff. Well, my friend that lived in that apartment with my other friend, the 2 of the murderers lived below him. And he was there the night that they came up and, like, arrested these guys. Like, came into their apartment and arrested them. And, he was telling me that one night. And he was just telling me it real nonchalantly, like, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And he was like, yeah. He goes, it was kind of scary, honestly. He was like, all of a sudden, he goes, I looked out and there were, like, police lights. And he goes, then I looked out. And he said there were police lights out front. There were police lights out back. He said there were, like, police running around the building. He said there were so many police officers. It was a huge deal, you guys. I can't think of the last time that we've had something like that in Indianapolis that's happened that was really horrible. Right by our house and Melissa and Jason's house, because Melissa and Jason and Alex and I, we live, like, 4 city blocks from each other. So anyway, there is this house, I've talked about this on here too, that this minister lived in with his wife, and these kids came in, and it was like the Christmas Eve service or something. And I tried to find articles about it. I found like a few, and I found the address of the house, but then Melissa told me that they took down, that they not burned down the house. They like demolished the house and they rebuilt another one. Because I was like, oh my God, is that the same house? But apparently they rebuilt the whole house. I don't know. But that house is literally like 2 blocks from where I live. And like you go out our gate and it's like 2 blocks from there. So these 2 like high school kids came in and they killed this minister and his wife, and I think the cat too, or something, on like Christmas Eve, and then like cut off their heads and left them underneath the Christmas tree or something. Real creepy. By the way, I just drove by the street. That is the Baumeister mansion that I went to the paranormal investigation on. But we don't have a lot of like that stuff happen in Indiana today. You know, we'll have a lot of like missing kid situations that happen, like those girls in Delphi, but I don't know a whole lot about that. I'm trying to think of something else that's happened in Indiana that's kind of strange. We haven't really had anything like that in quite some time, you know? Somebody sent me this link to this article I was reading about, that at any given time there are so many active serial killers like in the United States that we aren't even aware of, and that they're like killing people, and that people just think that they're missing and all this kind of stuff, and that we have no idea that they're out there being active. Isn't that scary? Like, I feel like that is really scary. I was talking to Caroline about this on Easter. She was asking me if I watch all these Netflix shows, these documentaries. It's like everybody wants me to watch that one about that Gypsy Rose Blanchard girl. Like, apparently, I don't know what it's called, but it's on Hulu or something, which I asked Alex if he wanted to get Hulu. We don't have Hulu, but it's like, what is it, $7 a month or something? So I was like, well, we can get it if you want to get it. And because he watches everything streaming pretty much. Well, we have cable too, and he watches everything on cable. But I don't like that story, honestly. Like, you guys, like, it kind of like really weirded me out. Like, I watched the documentary on HBO. Oh my God, my battery's about to die. Do I have another battery with me? I don't think I do. Oh, I do. I do have another battery, but I don't know if it's charged or not. But anyway, I watched that documentary. In case it ends, I love you guys, but I watched that documentary on HBO, and I thought it was really, really weird. I did not love it. It kind of like just weirded me out. I don't know that I want to watch a whole series about it, you know? The whole thing was so bizarre. But anyway, you know what? I'm not going to put the other battery in. I'm just going to end it here. I hope you guys are having an amazing Saturday. Don't have other plans. Let's just have an amazing Saturday. Let's just have the greatest day of our entire life and focus on all the small things that make us happy. And list one small thing in the comment section below, one small little detail of your life that makes you really, really happy on a daily basis. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Tell yourself that. Remember, you define your self-worth. Nobody else defines that. Don't ever forget that. It took me 40 years to learn that. 40 years it took me to learn that I define my self-worth. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Bye. Love you.